Have you ever sworn something was one way, only to find out you remembered it completely wrong? Maybe you remember the Monopoly man with a monocle, but he's never had one. Or you could have bet money that the Berenstain Bears was spelled with an EI, not an AI. If any of that rings a bell, you're not alone. You may have fallen victim to something called the Mandela Effect. But how can so many people be so confidently wrong about the same thing? Is it just a case of collective confusion, or are we all glitching out in some alternate reality? The term Mandela Effect was coined in 2009 by Fiona Brome, a paranormal researcher who discovered that she and thousands of other people shared the same false memory that Nelson Mandela had died in prison during the 1980s. The thing is, he didn't. Mandela was actually released in 1990 and went on to become the president of South Africa. Yet people across the globe remember watching the news coverage of his funeral, hearing world leaders speak about his legacy, and even learning about his death in school. That shared false memory became the spark that ignited one of the internet's most fascinating modern mysteries. Since then, the Mandela Effect has grown into a massive list of bizarre memory mix-ups that a huge number of people share. Like, how many of us remember the famous line from Star Wars as Luke, "I am your father." But if you go back and watch the scene, Darth Vader actually says, "No, I am your father." Or how about the logo for Fruit of a Loom? Many people clearly remember it having a cornucopia behind the fruit. But in every official logo in existence, there's no cornucopia in sight. It's straight up not real. And let's not even get started on whether it's Febreze with one E or Febreze with two. Spoiler, it's one. So what is going on here? Some say it's a sign that we're living in a simulation, that these false memories are the result of glitches in the matrix. In other words, we're noticing the software hiccup. Others believe in alternate realities or parallel universes, where maybe there was a version of the world where the Monopoly man wore a monocle, and we just somehow crossed timelines. In this wild theory, for those who vividly remember things differently, it feels like the only explanation that makes sense. But let's pull back from the sci-fi for a second. According to psychologists and neuroscientists, there's actually a more grounded explanation, one that still kind of feels freaky. The Mandela Effect might be the result of something called false memory, when your brain fills in the gaps with information that feels right, but isn't. See, our memories aren't like video recordings. They're more like a patchwork of impressions, emotions, and assumptions. Every time we remember something, we're actually reconstructing it. And sometimes those reconstructions pick up details from pop culture, conversations, or even memes, and mix them up with what we think happened. There's also the role of schema theory, which basically means our brains use patterns to predict things. So if we've seen a bunch of cartoon characters wear monocles, like Mr. Peanut, we may incorrectly assume that the Monopoly man had one too. Or if we expect a cleaning product to smell breezy, we might remember the spelling as Febreze instead of Febreze. Our brains are masters of making educated guesses, but they don't always get it right. Then there's the power of suggestion and the internet. When one person points out a memory discrepancy, others start questioning their own recollections. Before you know it, a Reddit thread has hundreds of comments from people who are now sure they remember it the same incorrect way. Social media spreads these shared false memories like wildfire, turning a simple misremembered fact into a full-blown Mandela Effect phenomenon. In the end, whether you chalk it up to the multiverse shenanigans or just a quirk of human psychology, the Mandela Effect reminds us of one important thing. Our memories aren't nearly as reliable as we think they are. We're all walking around with brains that are constantly editing, remixing, and rewriting our pasts, and sometimes it feels like reality itself is shifting under our feet. So next time you're absolutely convinced Pikachu had a black tip on his tail, he didn't. Or that it's spelled Looney Tunes instead of Looney Tunes, also wrong. Take a deep breath and remember, It might not be a glitch in the matrix. It's probably just your brain being its weird, wonderful self. Thanks for watching Mega Fact Attack. If your mind was blown by the Mandela Effect, hit that like button and subscribe for more wild facts every week. Do you have a memory that doesn't match reality? Drop it in the comments. We want to know what weird ones you remember. Until next time, keep questioning what you think you know, because reality might not be as solid as it seems.